Derrick Henry is having a career year. I don't know if he'd be having that career year in our situation. And that's really something you really do have to look at, because if he had not had as many carries as our running backs have had, then he certainly probably wouldn't have attained the level of impact he's having. And then he's a real good complement to the type of offense they run. We don't run that type of offense at all. Our situation is more about, frankly, it's more about holding your blocks. It's more about not making mistakes. It's more about, in my mind, the receivers running through a tough man-to-man coverage and running on through it. And, if you will, get away from that. The types of things that we all think we should be looking at is, well, we're designing bad plays or we're designing bad concepts. The facts are that there's some of that, but there's also some of execution. There's some of the talent. I like our talent. I really do like our talent. I like our young talent. But young talent has a few more mistakes associated with it than if you are dealing with a veteran player. Although you've got to have young talent, as I've said.
Hold on. Before we even get started, man, I got to. Because Cowboys fans, we needed this one. This is a massive win. No matter what side of the debate you're on, no matter what type of take you've had about the Cowboys, today's interview with Jerry Jones vindicates almost everyone. And this interview, if listened to with objective ears, and I'm about to break this down to y'all and explain why this is so important. This interview should unite Cowboys Nation and make everyone realize, even myself, that everyone has been right all along to some degree. Let's get to it, but first, salute. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Jones did one of his bi-weekly radio appearances on 105.3 The Fan. And I gotta admit, y'all, as much as I've been criticizing Jerry, and I've been as much of a proponent as not liking the decisions and how Jerry's been going about his business as anybody else, and I want to be very, very clear. This interview and the things that he said does not excuse any of the shortcomings that I feel like he has committed as far as this franchise goes. I don't think that this exonerates him for any of his decisions. I want to be very, very clear. But this interview was so important because, like I mentioned in the opener, this makes every Cowboy fan, to some degree, correct. And we can all gain actual clarity of this team. There's definitive answers in this as to why this team is operating the way it is, how this team is operating, what Jerry Jones's mindset is with this team. And as a fan, it's going to provide us a clear direction and clear understanding of what this franchise is going to be for the foreseeable future. And it's going to give us, as fans, the opportunity to decide if we're okay with that, and we're going to live with that and just be a fan and control. We can control. And everybody understand it. We don't have to infight anymore. We don't have to debate with each other. We don't have to be so strong against each other trying to prove who's right, because everyone is right. And the best thing about this is Jerry also showed me today, and I gotta give credit where it's due because I try to be objective with y'all when it comes to really breaking down what's real right here. And I'm not listening to give y'all this super entertaining video. I was going to come on here and act the fool initially because Jerry seemingly called out Mike McCarthy. He seemingly called out the wide receivers. He was very, very pointed and very clear and concise in the message that he was trying to send with the things that he was saying to the radio host and to the answers that he was answering. And whether or not we agree with it, there should be clear understanding. You can disagree all you want, but there should be a very clear understanding of what the Dallas Cowboys are, what they're trying to do, what their intentions are, and we just got to live with it as fans. Now, let's just break down some of the things that was mentioned that I feel like are the most important as far as kind of really bringing the fan base together. Jerry Jones absolutely showed today that he's very aware of strategy that is viable in the NFL today. He is absolutely aware of how the Cowboys should be going about attacking certain teams. He's absolutely aware of things that are being said about the team, himself, how the team should be operating, and what should be being done. This interview honestly showed that he is cognitive, bro. He's there. He is not completely checked out. He is there. He really echoed a lot of the same sentiments that a lot of respectable voices in the Cowboys community, whether it be new media, legacy media, whatever, a lot of respectable voices have said some of these things, and Jerry acknowledged them today. He gave credibility to those things. For instance, Troy Aikman, his comment on the receivers. In y'all's film study, did you see any of that and agree with any of what Troy said?
Troy knows football. My goodness, he lives it. When he was here, he's one of the most astute and hardworking people I've ever seen at evaluating tape or looking at how a team is playing. Troy's credible, boy, and should be. And not only that, you can imagine he's not just interested in taking a whack at the Cowboys. He feels as much or more than anybody does about the Cowboys. He's very professional. I think he's very fair. And certainly you can look at what we've been doing. You can look at such things as the separation compared to other teams. That's that analytics that you work with today. But fundamentally, I was talking with Mike, and our players need to work on, when they've got tight coverage, they need to work on pushing on through physical contact, pushing on through it. Now, that's just an example. That's not the only thing. But I'm pretty confident that we've got the ability to coach, and we've got some receivers that take the coaching and can improve. That's the big thing, improve. Listening to Jerry really kind of explain how he felt about Troy Aikman's comments, you can tell he sees the same issues. He feels the same way. He even took Troy Aikman's comments a step further and confirmed that he went and spoke with Mike McCarthy about actually coaching the receivers, not only to be more physical in how they're running their routes and not looking around, looking for flags midway through the play. That's one thing that eggs me, is the receivers looking for flags and the play ain't even blown dead yet, bro. I can't stand seeing their head turn, the hands go up, and the ball is just now getting there to them. You know what I'm saying? So Jerry talked about going to Mike McCarthy and telling them, hey, we got to coach these guys to be more physical running through man coverage. He also talked about how he feels like Mike McCarthy has clear areas of opportunity to improve upon, and he let us know exactly why he's not so quick to make a move on Mike McCarthy, and whether we agree with it or not, there's a clear understanding of why, and that is what's important. And I remember when I changed and went to Jason Garrett, and we were 1-7, and basically we had the same difference in the score against Green Bay. It was exactly the same difference as against Detroit, and we go up to New York and we win that game the week we changed out the coaching. Now, I've regretted making that change. Just so you know, if I had that to do over again, I might not have done it. What I'd love to have done is sit down and talk to Wade when Wade came in and said, I need to, we needed a better defense. I need to find me a defensive coordinator, and I'm the best defensive coordinator I know. Well, he is, because all he did was go over to Denver, and I've never heard this in the NFL, but people around the league said they won that Super Bowl because of coaching, Wade Phillips. And I let him out of here just because of that. Now, we did win the next game from that standpoint after having the same kind of spread that we had the week before here. So those are just the kind of experiences that make you know that you can make these decisions, but there's a good chance that you're making it and you should have gone the other way. Now we understand why Jerry isn't making a coaching change so quickly, why he's being more patient with his coaches. He's trying to give them more leeway, more runway to actually be able to make something happen. Whether or not we agree with it, that's the reasoning behind his decision making, y'all. He's kind of fighting the ghost of his past again. I don't agree with it. I feel like if you're going to be the GM, and that's the bad part about having a GM that's in place for 30 years, doesn't have to worry about getting fired, is he can decide to go about it long, drawn out ways like that, because there's no sense of urgency, right? If you're a GM that know your job is at risk, you're trying to win within a 3 to 4 year period, because you don't have that long to try those types of weird methods about going about team building and getting coaches in that can get the job done or whatever it may be. That's the drawback. We got to understand the reality, right? That's just what it is, y'all. So we have to either live with that, or you could be like, hey, I'm going to take my free will as an American, or whatever you may be. If you don't have free will, that's tough. But I'm going to take my free will as an American, a Texan, proud Texan, and I'm going to go to another team, right? That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that's the option that you have. Now that you have a clear understanding of why he isn't so knee-jerk on his moves. Now that you're hearing,
I didn't go for Derrick Henry. I'm telling you 100%. It's not about, oh, we thought Zeke was better, none of that. I didn't go for Derrick Henry because we're trying to go about saving cap space for guys to sign in the future, so it's not so much of an issue like it was in years past as far as trying to get the guys signed or trying to make room. We're trying to make sure we have that room available because Derrick Henry signed a 2-year, $16 million contract with the Ravens while the Cowboys had cap space. Maybe they're planning on signing and keeping more guys than what some of us are even thinking about. We may not agree with every decision they're making, but he's clear and concise about how he's going about building the team. So this is why I say everyone was right to some degree, right? Everyone was right to some degree. Think about it. The people that said that, oh, Jerry is more concerned about money than actually trying to build a contender. You're actually proven to be correct. He actually said today he wanted to save money. The reason that the Cowboys didn't get as much draft value back for Amari Cooper was they prioritized saving money over getting the draft compensation to build a contender, right? He literally confirmed that. He said that in today's interview. You can go back and listen to the full interview on the Cowboys channel or 105.3, whatever it may be. But he literally said that today. So we got confirmation. They're going to prioritize the value of a player and try to really rely on their scouting and really rely on their team building and being able to spot talent and really kind of draft and develop. They're really going to rely on that system versus trying to prioritize making big splash moves to win now. So now as fans, we understand, don't expect many win now splash moves. Don't expect the big trade deadline trade. Don't expect the big free agent sign. Just don't expect that. Just ever. Just don't expect that, because they're prioritizing being able to afford players that they want to afford while also kind of enforcing their team building strategy, which is draft and develop and sign veteran bridge gap players here and there to fill in gaps as long as they fit within their budget. That's what they provided clarity on. So we understand that. But also, the same people that said, no, they do want to win a championship. Look at all the talent that they're getting. That's also true. They want to win a championship. They just really believe that the way to do it is a way in which they can kind of have both pieces of the pie. They can have the money saving aspect, and they can be great on the financial side, and they have all this talent that's going to prove that they're football geniuses as well. They're telling us exactly what their strategy is, y'all. We don't have to argue about it anymore. We don't have to go back and forth about what their intentions are, what they're doing. This is exactly what they're doing. They see everything that we see. They knew that the way to go about attacking Detroit was passing and trying to attack the secondary. They said the same exact thing a lot of us said throughout the week leading up to Detroit as far as how this team should go about attacking that defense. That was their weak spot. Jerry echoed that. He was aware of that. The Cowboys were aware of that. The problem is some of the stuff that Jerry brought up. The practice habit, having a lot of young guys in place. They're going to make more mistakes than a veteran guy might make. The play calls. And he said, maybe we go about it a different way. Now, I can't believe I'm up here defending Jerry for however long I've been on this particular episode. But y'all, the reason this is important is because there's no need to argue. There's no need to fight. Everybody is right. Everybody is right about everything that we've been saying. Everybody is right. The Cowboys may know that Derrick Henry is a great player and he's definitely worth the value that he had, but they also understand that, hey, he may not have had the same success here because this team isn't built to do what Derrick Henry and those guys are doing in Baltimore. Our offensive line needs to get better. He mentioned exactly all the places that we need to get better in and who's the issues and what position groups are the issues. So I think that's the encouraging part, is understanding that Jerry's fully aware. He's fully aware of what he's doing. It's not like we just have a madman that doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's just pushing random buttons. That's not the situation, y'all. He's fully aware of the decisions he's making. He's fully aware of the choices he's making. We can stop acting like Jerry don't know what the hell he's doing or what's going on, because he do. He do. And he's honestly echoing a lot of the same stuff that we're saying, but he's just confident in the way that he's going about doing his business. And now as a fan base, there's really only one thing to discuss. There's only one thing to debate now as a fan base is, hey, you're either going to be okay with rooting for the Cowboys and understand that this is how the front office is going to choose to operate. These are the motives behind why they're operating the way that they're operating. We're either going to be okay with that. We're either going to understand that, yes, while Jerry Jones understands that Mike McCarthy it does have a lot of areas to improve on. It. There's things he does need to be doing better. He also is trying to give him some patience. He's trying to give him a lot of rope to really work through those things because he believes in the decisions he's made. He's believed in the coaching staff he's put in place. He's believed in the players he's put in place. And he wants to see that decision through. He doesn't just want to throw the towel in on the decision. So at the end of the day, as Cowboys fans, now we have to understand that whatever we go into the season with, whatever plan this organization goes into the season with, that's the plan this organization is going to see through in that full entire season, y'all. Unless it's just completely off the rails, the Cowboys are 0-7 or 0-6 going into the bye week. That's probably the only way we would have saw anything change as far as a coaching change or to make Jerry really force his hand. But the Cowboys are one game out of first place, and players are coming back from injury, and they feel like this team can be better than what it is. I feel like this team is going to be better than what it is because of the players that we have on this team. And I think at this point, we as fans just have to decide at this point, are you going to be a fan? Are you going to be a fan? Because there's no more questions or any debate about what this is and what it means to be a fan to the Cowboys. And there's no more confusion about the direction of this team or how they're going to operate. He clarified all of this. If you listened with objective ears and you didn't listen to find something inflammatory that he was saying or to really cling on to the fact that he kind of needled at Mike McCarthy and went at Mike McCarthy and let him know, like, hey, he got to be better. He let us know that he spoke with Mike McCarthy about coaching guys to be more physical. The receivers, CD and these guys running through physicality. He has let us know he's addressed these things. Now at this point, we just got to make the decision on our own, y'all. That's just what it is. And that's why I think this is such a vindicating day for Cowboys fans, because to some degree, no matter what your argument has been, it's been right. It's been right to some degree on every side of the debate. So there's no reason to keep fighting each other unless you're somebody out there that doesn't believe that players are as good as they are. Then that's a completely different debate. But as far as how the Cowboys organization is ran and why they're making the decisions that they're making, a lot of clarity was provided today, like a lot of clarity. And honestly, it should be very clear now, all right, that we stay the same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the ball? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.